Hey guys, my name is David and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be reviewing Old Country by Matt and Harrison Query. Hopefully I've said their surname right. I got this from my recent Abominable Book Club box and it wasn't my intended pick. My intended pick was a massive disappointment. So this was my second choice. So I thought, okay, I'll read this. I didn't really know what to expect going into this book. As my personal experience, whenever I see a building with a single light on, it's usually a rubbish ghost story. And when I read the back of this, it had something to do with a spirit, but I didn't know what to expect. I must state, guys, that this was an excellent, brilliant story. This was the biggest surprise so far of the year for me personally, as I thought that this was just going to be simply a okay story, but this was absolutely incredible and my god, such a piece of art. It really is. This is a masterpiece by two authors that haven't really done much. I had a look on Goodreads to see what else these two have actually written, and they haven't really published a lot of stuff, so I was really surprised. And there is the two pictures of the authors there. Hopefully you can see that. So when it comes to reading books, not just horror but anything that is written by two or more authors, then there's usually that clash of writing styles, especially if it's from someone that you are familiar with and you've read some of their work before. You can usually pick out the bits that they actually wrote or contributed to. But with this, because both these authors were new to me, then I didn't really have that issue or problem. And plus, this is actually the first book that I personally could find that they wrote together. So before I get into this video, I'm just going to say my usual things here, spoiler free and my own thoughts and feelings only for this book. So this, I'm not sure if this falls under the category of folk horror, as I haven't really read that much folk horror, and if I have, I haven't really noticed or hasn't really come across that way. So I do not know if this is folk horror or not, but I'm going to say that it is for the purposes of this video. This book revolves around two main characters, a married couple called Harry and Sasha, or Sash as she's sometimes referred to. Harry and Sasha are a happily married couple. They are both damaged in past events from their past experiences in life and also their family lives, and they have come together and they are so perfect for each other. They are both really loving and understanding, and they are a really strong couple. We find out a bit about their past, like Harry was in the Marines or armed forces, and he was in wars. He actually shot and killed a lot of people, and I suppose he's kind of yeah, traumatized by that, but that's just part of his life. And Sasha, she doesn't really come from much of a loving family. They aren't really abusive to her, or what actually were abusive to her. I think they just kind of like ignored her. So she probably felt alone growing up throughout her whole childhood. So when Harry and Sasha find their dream house in the middle of nowhere, it's a kind of a cabin in the middle of nowhere. Obviously there are neighbours around it, and obviously there's a small community around their house, but for the most part it's a cabin in the middle of nowhere with mountains, and they've got all this farmland, and it's their dream house. They want to try to get away. So when they go there, they have a look around obviously, and they are so happy, and they're planning about what they're going to do with the land and what animals they're going to raise and all that stuff. And they do have a dog as well, which is a character in this book. It doesn't actually talk or anything like that, it's just a standard dog. But this dog is called Dash, and Dash is a character in this book, and he's not really, I suppose he's kind of a main side character, if that made any sense. So everything seems to be going fantastically. They've landed on their feet, they've got their dream house, they're living the dream, they're living the American dream. That is all turned upside down on its head when their neighbours, called Dan and Lucy, I'm pretty sure that's what they're called, come to visit them, and they basically welcome them with open arms and pretty much say to them that there is a evil spirit that is going to haunt them throughout each season of the year. And they give them like these massive pile of papers that basically say that all these rituals that they have to do every single month to prevent these spirits from doing them any harm. And this goes into extreme detail about what actually happens every single month and what they have to do in order to prevent any danger from befalling them. So when they get this, they obviously think that this old couple are basically nut jobs and lost their marbles and crazy. But as time goes on, they encounter all this weird stuff that happens every single season. And every single thing that the papers and Dan and Lucy have told them have been actually happening. Spring, which opens up the book, there is this mysterious light in the lake near their house or cabin, that when they see this light in the ponds or lake or whatever, they have to immediately light a fire as soon as they see it. And this fire is supposed to keep out the spirits from entering their house and pretty much killing them. And they're also told that if they don't do this, then they will hear all these like drums coming from the mountains, and that they have to board up the house to keep stuff from coming in. Summer, a bear chases a butt-ass naked man who's in his birthday suit with his bits and pieces hanging out, and they have to not touch this man and to not let him come into the house. And they're told that they have to shoot this man or watch this man being brutally eaten by this bear. In autumn time, these scary scarecrows are appearing throughout their can actually appear throughout their land and near the house, and they are trying to get into the house, but they're told that they have to drag them away and to burn them. And winter, well, they're told that nothing will happen in winter, but will it or will it not? Will the spirit have some surprise for them? I mean, obviously I know, but trying to keep some mystery out of it. Or mystery, yeah. And all these different sections and rituals that are split up in this book through the different seasons of the year, these events happen numerous times. And at first I thought that that was the only downfall of the book, that it was kind of being a bit repetitive, stating that, okay, numerous lights happened and numerous scarecrows turned up and numerous bear chases turned up, which happens to be the same man being hunted down by this bear. But I suppose that was the whole point, because if they only showed them once, then there wouldn't be much of a threat. But they do happen numerous times in slightly different situations and environments. Because this spirit is the same entity, it just has different forms throughout the different seasons of the year. And there is a mysterious gentleman called Joe who feels responsible for this and is basically the ritual keeper and the knowledge of this spirit and what makes it tick, supposedly. But as time goes on, this mysterious Joe never shows up. I mean, is he a real life person? Or is he more than what he appears to be? So you may be thinking, well, David, if this spirit is trying to kill Harry and Sasha throughout all these rituals that they have to like do all these things to prevent them from actually dying, then why don't they just leave? They can't leave their house because they have been told that throughout the years numerous people have left their house because of these spiritual encounters, and and then people have and those people have died in mysterious and strange ways. So it's implied that if they leave, then they will get killed by the spirit, that the spirit will follow them no matter where they go. So throughout the story, they kind of have to incorporate all these rituals into their day-to-day lives. And they're happy there. They are happy together. They're happy with each other. They're happy with their neighbours. And they're happy with their house and their lands. They just have to try to come to terms with the fact that this spirit is going to be a part of their day-to-day lives, whether they like it or not. So basically, as the story goes on, it's just trying to like uncover what is actually happening, and they have to try to see if they can prevent this spirit from doing its thing, and maybe try to stop it, and maybe even try to break the curse. I also have to say, guys, that there's a trigger warning. If you are a vegan, then try to steer clear from this book, because they are in the middle of nowhere. There are all these woods and forest areas around them, and they do go and hunt animals and kill them. It isn't described in a gory way, but it's enough to get its points across. So if you are a vegan, and if that will upset you, then yeah, maybe give this one a miss. But this book was awesome. It was fantastic. I felt that I was in this cabin and in this situation with Harry and Sasha, that I was dealing with this spirit with them. It is written in such a good way. It has a good flow. Yes, it did drag a little bit with the repeated rituals, but as I said, that had to be there, because if it was only mentioned once or twice, then there wouldn't be much of a threat. And this book was very creepy and scary, and at times really horrible and disgusting. But I had a lot of fun reading this book, and I'm really excited to see about what else Matt and Harrison have else that they want to write or are going to be publishing, whether it's separately or as a duo. So I'm going to rate this book a 5 stars out of 5. It was awesome, and yeah, hopefully I've explained this book properly and done it justice. I know that a lot of people have been kind of asking me what I thought about it, and even though not everything is answered, there is a lot of mystery in this book. And the ending, I won't spoil the ending, guys, but the ending for me was satisfying. It wasn't what I was expecting to happen, because I was expecting like 2 outcomes to happen in this book, and I won't say whether it did or did not happen, but the ending of this book was satisfying. I'll say that. So guys, that's been my review for Old Country. Let me know if you have read this. What did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Have you been inspired to pick this up and give it a try? You can get it on Kindle and in paperback, obviously, and also in hardback. So please let me know if you have been inspired or encouraged or whatever to pick this book up and to give it a try, because if you are into horror, then you should definitely read this. And I suppose that if you are new to horror and aren't easily creeped out, then I would recommend this as well. But if you are easily creeped out and are offended by animal deaths and hunters and bringing back their meat to eat, then maybe give this one a miss. But if not, definitely give it a try. So guys, that has been my review for Old Country. Hopefully you have enjoyed it, and with all that out the way, I'll see you in my next one.